Well, I'm still here. It's PK here in Sofia, Bulgaria. Here we are. Hey, how you doing? PK here, and we're going to talk about on today's show on Out of the Box. Remember, I'm living out of the box. I wanted to do it out here on the patio, but it's still a little too cool here this morning. The name of the show is... What is the name of the show? What was I thinking in my mind? Trading stocks and futures is not a science project. So let's go inside and we'll talk about it real quickly here. Give me a moment. Cool down, you guys. Okay. Hope you're all well. It's Monday morning. Hopefully we can make some money. Okay. This goes here. This goes there. Get my glasses. Yeah, I think you guys know we came here, and my wife and I came here to Bulgaria for 6 weeks during the pandemic. You know, I have that, I call it the Disneyland e-ticket. I get in. We came last summer for 2 months at the height of the pandemic. And the interesting thing is, talk about a trade in a sense, you would think the trade to get in this last summer would have been harder. You know, this year, testing, vaccinations, I mean, it's just unbelievable. But anyway, before I go too crazy here, I got my notes. We're going to hit it really fast here. So the name of the show for Out of the Box this morning is that trading futures or stocks is not a science project. And what I want to tell you is this. All of us use different platforms to trade, to make our decisions. I happen to use TradeStation. Why? Because I'm 62, I'm low tech. I know there's much more advanced systems, platforms you can use, but I need to use something which is part of my character, which is I want to make things as simple as possible. This, I think, is one of the most important things. You want to keep, you know that expression, keep it simple, stupid, kiss. But you know what? It's really true. And especially with the trading, and especially now with all these platforms. You know, I was going to put up on my, on the thumbnail, a chart with 1 million indicators. But I thought it's so small, it won't really show. But as you know, you bring that list down, we can go out of our mind with all these indicators, you know, because they're all variations of the same thing in certain categories. So again, you want to keep it as simple as possible. I think I've mentioned before, I'll mention it again. I say, okay, PK, what indicators? What do you have up on your screen, right? I just have moving averages. Because remember, I want to see what everyone else is watching around the world, and see the reaction to these things. Which is, I have the 10, the moving averages, the 10 period, the 20 period, and the 50. It's only need the 200 is irrelevant. As I said, for some of you stock traders, long term, because how many times are you going to get near that 200 line? Rarely. So really, it's the 10, 20, and 50. I'm a short-term swing trader. I know many of you may be day traders. It doesn't really matter the time frame. What I'm going to be giving you is some tips that will help you to get off this mindset, because I had this mindset as trying to turn the trading and what we're doing every day is into this science project. That's what I call it. So let's start with number one. The first tip is to be flexible, right? And when I mean by flexible, I say is really, yes, you know, discipline. You got to have discipline, but it's really about the discipline to the downside. When these trades go against you, I don't care if it's a stock, if it's a future. This what takes the rock solid discipline is to be able to blow yourself out. You know, whether you want to put, if you're short term, you put stops in, or I always recommend, I put an emergency stop in if I want to watch it, because we've all been burned putting stops in. You know, I did a whole video, who are the they, They're always going after us. You guys know what I'm talking about when you start putting those close stops in. But I put this very far away emergency stop just in case the news hits. But the point is, the tip is that the downside, when you read about, you're going to have discipline, trading about having discipline, you have to have discipline, you have to have a plan. And I'm telling you, this discipline, it's not about taking the trades and taking every trade and, and maybe missing a trade. What the discipline really is, the real world discipline is about when these trades go against you. You've got to be able to blow yourself out and take that loss. This is the hardest part in the trading. It's not about getting in. Your timing, everything could be perfect. When they go up is easy. You guys know what's happened to all of us. The talent in the trading, it takes the experience, and I don't want to say years, but maybe it could be a lot of hours of practice, thousands of hours, is be able to blow yourself out over and over again when they go against you. In fact, I use this rule that you're always going to be tested with 3 losers in a row. This seems to be the number. When you lose 3 times in a row, all of a sudden, even me, confidence gets shattered, and you become very hesitant taking that 4th trade. It's just human nature for all of us. So you want to have some flexibility. It's a mixture of being flexible, of looking at what you're trying to do and having the discipline to the downside. So that's kind of 1 and 2. Tip number 3, I only have 5, so hang in there with me. I've already got 7 minutes. You see, I don't shut up. PK doesn't shut up. He can go on forever. Let's see. I think this is very important. This is really downplayed in all the trading books, which is, and I found this to be, you must have confidence in the direction of what you're going to be doing for the day, that week. This is number 1 for me. It's not about having so much confidence in your setup and what you're looking at and say, it's the perfect setup, the line's crossed, it's on the line. Whatever that means for you, all of us, remember, there is no one way in the trading. So, but I think you have, if you don't have confidence that wow, this is going to go up today, Peloton's going to go up, or the British pound's going to go down, or your gold's going to go up. You need to if you don't have this confidence of the direction, better off passing. You only push that button when you have real confidence in the direction. It's really one of the best tips. I'm actually surprised, that all these training books, they don't, I don't know what they teach in the trading courses. Usually they're all day traded focused, but I think this is much more important than all our setups, our indicators. These are the things that matter. Funny around, it bounced around. PK, let me tell you, I wish, don't any of you ever get sick when you're young at 40. This horrible thing. You see, I struggle, I can barely talk, I slur my words, people think I'm drunk even to this day. Look, I forgot to tell you, so I got the moving averages up. I mentioned those. I use that basic, slow stochastic. I think that's come standard. It's so ridiculous, but believe me, everyone, people watch these things. When it's at 20, it's an 80. It's at 80, it's, oh my God, it's oversold. At 20, at 80, it's overbought. At 20, it could be oversold in the market. But I think these things overall give you some very fast picture, which can help you with the direction. So I have that up. And the last indicator, the only other indicator I have really, as I mentioned before, is this 80X. I like the average directional index. Again, I think the standard period is 14. And this is just measurements of are we in a trend? And how strong is that trend? Even though we all know the trend can change tomorrow, and it does frequently. How many times do you see it gets going a little bit? And this, as I mentioned in one of my other videos, this is one of the big problems of all these crossover trend-following systems. You're going to have really some big drawdowns unless you just start at the perfect time and you can catch the copper, the lumber, or these great trends we've had, the market can really go sideways for months and months and really chop you up while you're waiting for the trend to come together. So that said, so let me go back to tip number 4. So those are my indicators. Tip number 4 is, I want to tell you, that, again, back to the setup, whatever your setup are. Listen, this is PK's opinion. I feel technical analysis. As you know, I joke around all the time. I say, TNA. Well, it's because it's TA. But I always want to say TNA. But TNA is something else that us guys like. Okay? But so it's not that. But I want to say that I feel this whole thing of the setup, even all the trades we take, I think it's 50-50 in the long run. I think the help of the charts and all these indicators and all these things we look at every day in our decision-making process, I believe they help us get in. They can tell us if you want to go long, go try it here, here, here. You want to go short, here, here, here. I'm not a believer, this is my personal opinion, that any of this can really predict future behavior on any of these things. Future market action, future behavior. Well, we know the behavior. All these traders are crazy. You got to be a little bit out of your mind to be sitting here in your pajamas and thinking you can make money. But that's what's so great about the life today. This was so great about this out-of-the-box lifestyle. We could be anywhere in the world. You sit home, sit in your underwear, whatever you want to do. I'm sitting in Bulgaria. I try to even make some trades on the plane. Unsuccessfully, by the way. I kept losing the connection. So it's really unbelievable. Technology has made it for us traders. So again, the setup is really 50-50. I'll say it over and over again. Having confidence, whatever that means for you, when you really feel, all of us, not all trades are the same. Sometimes, you just get this feeling. It's just deep down in your gut. You just know it's going to go up, or you just know they're going to drop that market. Right? And you're going to go short. Whether it's a combination of indicators, the news, whatever it may be, but please, only push that button when you have that confidence. Or else, you're better off passing. You know why? It's another day, tomorrow, the next day, another trade. There's always another trade out there. So why bet when you don't have that great feeling? This is the thing. It sounds easy. I know how many I've sat there, all of us have sat there bored, and we feel like I'm working, I got to make some money, I got to try something. Look, we can always come up with a trade. It's very easy. Whether you want to go long or short, I don't care. Stock, future, doesn't matter. There's always a trade you can convince yourself to make and talk yourself into. And I don't have to tell you what happens in those trades. Most of the times we make those trades, we lose. And we try to avoid that. And the last one, number 5, is I mentioned this, this will be the last thing we'll talk about because I'm at 13 minutes here. The last thing, tip number 5 is you want to hold the winners longer. I said this, you'll hear me repeat myself because I'm trying to get it through your head. It took me years. This is why I'm trying to save you the aggravation of killing yourself working every day. Try to hold those winners. Go for 8-1, 10-1. Not this 2-3-1 all the books say. You're not gonna make enough money over the year unless you have an exceptional, some lucky year. But remember, we're here for trading our stocks, our futures. We want to do this as a career. Now, if you're doing it for a hobby, well, I can't really address you. I really can't talk to you. It's a little different. But I'm talking about for you serious. I don't care. You're an S&P trader, you're a stock trader, even if you're interested in the day trading, which is much more difficult because it's harder. It's harder to keep those. You don't have many opportunities. Opportunities to make a trade, but you don't have many opportunities to make 8-1 in a short period. I do have trades that last a day, but for me a day is now 4 hours. It's not 20 minutes, not 30 minutes, not 40 minutes like it was for years. And I told you before, it's only when I change to hold those winners longer, like all the books say, cut your losses short, let your profits run. But I told you it's much harder today when we're sitting here looking at these boxes that are flashing green, green, and you watch that number go up, and it's so easy, and you think, God, I'm up $1,000, $2,000, and you make it in 5, 10, 15 minutes, and you think, God, you start thinking what you could do with this money. You get out. It is 3-1, maybe it's 4-1, what your risk was, right? And then 15 minutes later, an hour, 30 minutes later, it's 10-1, or you held it all day, it could have been 20-1. I've had so many, and this was the reason what pulled PK up. This changed everything my whole life 5 years ago. So I'm trying to give you these tips so you don't go through the pain and suffering of knocking yourself out for years, going for 3-1, and grinding out this money. Because we still have the same amount of losers. We're still going to lose half the time, or maybe even a little bit more. So anyway, I hope I gave you these 5 tips of that don't make this a science project. Trading is an art. It's a feel. It's like playing guitar. It's like music. If any of you play an instrument, there's a lot of feel to it. It's not a science, even though all these indicators we use are all mathematically based. Don't treat it as a science. Don't make that mistake. So anyway, this PK here with out of the box, of course, living out of the box in this moment. Look, how many Americans are here again this summer during the pandemic? They haven't, they're talking about opening, and hopefully they're going to. Everything I see here in Europe, the cases are dropping, but the Germany's still out of control. I just read today they're closing it to all people from the UK. Who knows why? This Angela Merkel's crazy. Anyway, PK, wishing everyone a great day. It's Monday. Let's hope we get some action this week. I see right now, I'm just looking, it's what time is it now? 10:30 European time. You guys are sleeping. The markets are up. I don't really see anything really concrete. But anyway, I hope I gave you some help. Always can't even talk. Feel free to write me. If you have a question, I will answer it. I promise you. I get questions all the time. Whether it's on here, you can find me on the Facebook. As you guys know, I don't sell a newsletter. I don't sell a service. I don't sell nothing. It just makes me feel good because I don't want to say stupid father, it's disrespectful, but I dreamed that someone would have helped me when I was your age in my 20s. It would have saved me. Look at me. I'm bald, losing my hair, gray. I got to wear glasses. I mean, it's a disaster. Don't ever grow old. So anyway, I'll shut up now with PK with Out of the Box until tomorrow's next episode. Everyone have a great day. Ciao, everybody.